Hello and welcome to my first episode for my Let's Play series for the video game Metal Gear Solid. And this game is kind of an old game. It was released back in 1998, making it about 13 years old at the time, but I still think it's a rather good game. It's also a little unusual for a Let's Play game because it is not an RPG of any kind. It's actually a sort of stealth action game. Now, what we're watching right now is the introduction. This happens before you actually start the game. This is if you press any buttons and move past it. There's also another part of the game that's the briefing, but I'm not going to make you watch that.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces, being led by members of Fox-Hound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Fox-Hound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Fox-Hound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Fox-Hound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Okay, now we've reached the title menu, and we're going to be able to start the game from here. Now, although I didn't show you the briefing, and there's some other stuff that happened before this game, we're going to proceed on and we'll roll along with it, because it's possible to play this game and get the story and all that without any of the backstory being explained before then. So, let's get going. I'm going to start a new game, and I'm going to play this on normal. And the reason for that, I'd usually do it on hard, but I haven't played this game in about a decade, and although I still remember my way around it, the controls might be a little iffy, especially since the game is kind of outdated and the control scheme is a little, well, iffy. It's a very cinematic game, especially for one released back in the late 90s. It wasn't really common to see this kind of thing back then.
Down a couple of bothersome flies.
This is the codec. It's a sort of communication thing that you play in the game.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Okay, this game is a 3D game, but it has sort of a top-down view, which sort of changes the way that the control would be. If you are used to playing, like, say, Metal Gear Solid 4, which is a much later game, where it's kind of behind the shoulder view, this is quite a bit different. It takes some getting used to. Now, this is a stealth action game through and through. You are not supposed to run around just killing everybody you see, because you won't survive if you do that. Although you are going to have to kill a number of these guys. You just do it sort of covertly, like, watch this, I'm going to go break this guy's neck. Just run up behind him and... Oh, missed him. Ah, got him. He'll drop down. The sound of his body hitting the ground may alert an enemy if he's close enough, though. But the bodies disappear, and you don't have to worry about that. Also, you cannot take weapons from dead bodies.
What was that noise?
You can also beat up against things to make sounds to alert guards or draw them away from an area. Now that he was looking the other way, I got a chance to run up behind him and snap his neck. We'll be stuck down here for a little while, so let's just talk about how this Let's Play series is going to happen. I am doing this as a live commentary, so I'm playing the game as I'm recording the audio, which is probably alright for this game. I usually don't like doing that, but we'll try it again. Notice there's a first-person view. When you press the triangle on the controller, you go in the first-person view and you can look around. It gives you an opportunity to see it quite a ways ahead. Notice how cramped of a view this is from top down. You do this and you can see far away. You can't move though. You're basically stuck and you cannot fire your guns, if you have any guns, from this position. Later games in the series you could, but not in this one. Take note though that this game is actually the third game in the series. Oh look, the elevator's coming down. Now we're going to hitch a ride on the elevator. I could kill the guard that's about to come out there, but I'm not going to. Now, as I was saying, this is the third game in the series. Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 happened before, but they were in the 80s or early 90s or something like that. This is the first 3D game. It's the first one on the PlayStation. On the PlayStation series. Oh crap, he's coming back. You can see their cone of view. One of the game characters will actually explain the radar later on. Okay, we're free. And there we go. See ya, sucker. Now remember, this is the third game in the series, and there is a backstory to it. And we're going to fill in the blanks as we move along. So, just don't get impatient. These graphics are actually rather good for the PlayStation. Even though you can't see any real details on his face. This guy is named Solid Snake. He's basically like a super soldier, kind of anti-terrorist superhero. Solid from Metal Gear Solid, it's his code name, Solid Snake. He has a real name, and just don't think that he's like a Snake Plissken. probably take cover or something.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
Galena is an Air Force base in Alaska. That's where this game takes place, in Alaska.
Behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea. But it looks like our little diversion got their attention. Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed.
That thing in the battle against 2 F-16s? Is he insane?
There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, he must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself.
Stereotypical much?
What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. But I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision. Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice. I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to record your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you're naked. You need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First, I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
I'll hold you to
slut.
that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Ew.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
If you want to get in, there's the front door.
It's not really an option, though.
It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in. There's one sentry on the left and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
I'm not controlling this, just to let you know.
What about the air duct near the door? There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
Okay, now I have control. As you can see, we have binoculars, what he was going around with before, and let you zoom in, decide which way you want to go. But we're going to need something a little bit better than that. Also, ration. This is like the food that restores your life, so just remember that. Now, stay out of the spotlight. It's imperative that you not get seen by the spotlight. But in the center, there's some chaff grenades. That's something you're going to want. Chaff grenades disables electronics, meaning things like, well, the security camera. You throw a chaff grenade, and the camera stops working, for a short time anyway. So let's give that a try. Boom! Okay, it's jammed. We can move around. That got us stun grenades. Also, while it's jammed, you cannot use your radar. Stun grenades, these are grenades that you just chuck them, and it causes all the people in the map to go unconscious, except for Snake, of course. Good for getting yourself out of a pinch. Unfortunately, it's going to alert everybody to your presence, so I'm not going to fire off one of those right now. If you run over to here, to the truck, you will notice something in the back. What do we have here? SOCOM. SOCOM is a pistol. In real life, this is actually a real pistol, even though it looks kind of fake. Called a Mark 22 SOCOM, and it's a .45 caliber pistol. I'm not sure how popular it is, but it's like a US thing. The guards that we're fighting against, they use a different kind of gun. They have an assault rifle called a FAMAS, which I think is a French assault rifle. It's actually real, so even though it looks fake, it is real. I'm going to take this guard out, only because I don't want him to be in the way, but I'm not going to shoot him because I only have so many bullets right now. Oh, jeez. You almost saw me. Okay. I'm going to have to wait till this security camera's out of the way, because I'm going to take the upper floor. Now, let's talk a little bit before we move on about why we're doing this. Now, there are a bunch of terrorists came over and took over this basically like nuclear weapons disposal facility. After like the SALT and START treaties and all of that kind of crap, a bunch of nukes were basically disarmed. And what are we going to do with those? Well, you can't just throw them out. I mean, they're made out of plutonium and crap. You can't just chuck them out. So what do? They took them to this warehouse, basically, and left them here. Took apart the warheads and left everything behind. Well, what happened was a group of terrorists, basically, which are actually domestic terrorists, they're Americans. They came in and took over the facility. Now, this is a problem because, well, we can't have them in possession of a bunch of disarmed nuclear weapons. So, we gotta go send in Solid Snake in here to basically kill them all. Also, there's a problem because they've taken hostages. Oh, jeez, get the hell out of the way. I'm gonna kill this guy. They've taken hostages. The DARPA chief, DARPA means Defense Advanced Research Protection Agency. It's a real U.S. Whatever call it.
That base must have some kind of ventilation system to recirculate the air. There should be air ducts around there somewhere. They must need a lot of power to run the base. There's probably a diesel generator somewhere. And since generating electricity requires oxygen, there must be exhaust openings for that, too. You're not gonna believe this, but they shot down the F-16s we were using as a diversion with a Hind D. Then we got a message from Liquid. He said if we try something like that again, he'll launch the nuke. Snake, hurry up and get in there. That Hind will be coming back soon.
Whoops, that was a mistake.
That base must have some kind of...
Well, anyway, the DARPA chief is here, the guy who's in charge of the Defense Advanced Research Protection Agency. Also, another person was taken prisoner, the president of Arms Tech, which is a fictional weapons development company. And we have to rescue both of those people as well, then determine if the terrorists actually have the ability to launch any nukes, because, you know, it's in question since these are disarmed nuclear warheads. Okay, I'm going to save and then head through this ventilation shaft, and that will bring the end of this episode, and we'll pick it up the next episode crawling through the shaft. So let's save first. Call up Mei Ling.
You caught Snake?
Yes, save. And
Snake, remember
okay,
what the
she's
goal
got some
said.
stuff.
The graveyards are full of indispensable men. Snake, you're all alone and surrounded by bad guys. Try to be careful and avoid getting into a fight whenever you can.
You're right. Wow, you know all sorts of great quotes, don't you?
Well, both my parents are from Guangdong, China. But I was born and raised in America.
Guangdong, really?
I've always liked reading literature from both sides. Kinda keeps me in touch. I'll share some more quotes with you if you like.
I'm looking forward to it. But to tell you the truth, I'd like to learn more about you.
Well, I'll think about it.
Well, Snake, you dog. Okay, I'm going to crawl through here and bring the end of this episode. So tune in for the next one, and we continue our mission to basically save the frickin' world.